Another red flag is when he put the social security in the marriage license was different than the social security he put in the car application. So she started running a background check, but neither of the social securities were real.
Wow.
Sonoro.
More than Mamis.
Hello, welcome to a new episode of More Than Mamis, Untold Stories. I'm Michi.
And I'm Anto, and today we're gonna talk about Reesa Teesa, the woman who married a compulsive liar.
Oh my
Who
goodness.
the fuck did I marry?
This is better than a Telemundo soap opera, let me tell you. Reesa Teesa, the woman who married a compulsive liar, the shocking tale of Reesa Teesa deceived by her husband in a saga of lies. All right? So, who the fuck did she marry? Reesa Teesa's narrative, who reveals step by step her harrowing experience of meeting, marrying, and eventually divorcing a man whose lies were a bit as big as his love.
This story has captivated global attention, especially on TikTok, yes, where the American shares her marital odyssey through a series of over 50 videos.
But
She
here
is
we're
making
gonna
money with that.
Yes, here we're gonna like put these 50 videos in 20 minutes, okay? You don't have to listen to the 50
Just the
TikToks.
beginning and the end, and Untold story. for sure.
Exactly. So, Teesa unfolds shocking details about her fictitious marriage to a man who turned out to be the opposite of what she believed.
Oh my God. The story delves into the intricacies of a relationship based on lies and deception.
Reesa Teesa's story begins with an encounter on a dating app with a nickname Legion. Legion or Legion, I don't know how you pronounce it, but after several dates, Teesa falls in love with him, seduced by a narrative of success about a former football player
Oh my God.
and his desire to start a family.
Oh my God. However, the veil of lies began to crumble when Teesa discovered that her husband's life and identity were a complete sham. Even his identification document revealed a different identity.
Oh my goodness. Teesa ended the marriage in 2022 and cut all of contact with her husband. Her viral videos have reached millions of views, leaving viewers stunned by this story, although not yet confirmed it is real. This has left a deep impression due to a shocking possibility if it's real or not.
Well, if you wish to immerse yourself in this thrilling narrative, you can follow Reesa Teesa's profile on TikTok, where her over 2.7 million followers, oh my God, eagerly await more details about her marital experience. Okay.
Oh my God.
It all begins bad when you start a relationship. I'm like, no, I know several, like, I have plenty of friends who now have married, like, guys who they started dating online. But you have to, investigate more.
You need to
when
see the red flags.
and meet a person online, you have to say, okay, let me check your background, Where are you from?
It's like, women nowadays are kind of like little FBI
Yes.
agents.
Especially with Google,
Yeah.
if you write a name on Google search, you have a lot of information about someone.
Yes. Oh, well, the thing is, to give you like a little summary, first, they met online. They started dating, everything goes okay, but then comes COVID.
Okay.
And all the quarantine thing. And, he lived in a studio, she lived in a townhouse, so obviously made sense that they will quarantine together in the bigger place, which was hers.
Do you know the city?
I don't remember.
Let
I
me
think
check.
it was in Atlanta, if I'm correct.
In Georgia?
And then he moves in, but he starts taking care of all the bills of the house. So she was, pretty happy that he was taking care of everything, and eventually they start, thinking about the future and maybe buying a house together.
And in COVID, during COVID time, it was normal that you accelerate your relationship.
Yes.
If you started dating someone during or in the beginning of COVID, like all the process was like, accelerating because you invited that person to your house
Yes.
to watch a movie, and
There
to
was
have
nothing else to do.
time
You just have
inside
to
the
quarantine
house,
together.
and you have to know
Yes.
a lot of sex and
They
and
had
fun
a
together.
lot of sex, and eventually she got pregnant.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yes, she got pregnant, and then is when, she starts pushing. It's like, okay, we need a bigger place, so let's look at these houses. But he was like, well, with COVID, there's no showings. We need to do everything online. Let's look on Zillow, blah, blah, blah. Let's put this
Atlanta,
offer.
you were right.
It was in
Wow.
Atlanta.
Yes.
And they put an offer on a house.
Okay.
And, they are like, well, they haven't accepted the offer. And she's like, well, let's see another house. But then the realtor calls her. It's like, look, what are you guys thinking of the house? And she's like, what do you mean? We put an offer. And he's like, no, you didn't. And she was like, huh. Then like she started like, being like, this is weird.
Seeing red
But
flags
she
about
will
him.
like still ignore all these million red flags this guy had.
Because she was in love.
She was in love. She probably had a lot of good sex too. So
If he pretended to be a footballer,
I'm
former
sure he was
player,
good looking.
Maybe he was good looking
Yes.
and had a good, in a good shape.
in a very good. So after that, he says that he got like a good job. He was the vice president of this company, and he will have the funds to buy the house, and actually even offered to buy a car to her.
Okay.
They went to a BMW dealer and looked all day for a car, and they did an application. And since she started seeing things off, she memorized the social security when he put it in the application. But in the middle of it, something happened and they didn't buy the car. Then thereafter, a lot of other things start happening. She didn't know anyone of her family, but he will always talk to the family through FaceTime.
Okay.
And even interact with the family and stuff. And then when, she had something was wrong with her pregnancy, sadly, and she had a miscarriage.
Okay.
She went to the hospital, and this guy didn't show up. Like, he was supposed to pick her up after like the surgery because she had the
Yes.
miscarriage, and for some reason he was in a very important meeting, and his assistant was the one that called the doctor, not him, for some reason that we don't know why. And he was like, well, I'm late, I cannot pick her up, I'm like in a very important meeting, blah 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 blah. He ended up picking her up, and she starts seeing more red flags, like, why you were in a meeting when I was
Yes, in that situation,
going
yes.
through all this. So if this wasn't enough, he say that there was his ex. There's so many stories in here because he was 50 TikToks, so I get kind of lost. But basically, he says that he has an ex-wife,
Okay.
and the ex-wife is going through a hard time because her daughter is dying of COVID.
And she found out about his ex-wife after they got married?
He knew he was married before,
Okay.
but this is when it gets crazy because he says that he wants to send her money, but there's something up with her account, with his account. He shows her that he has the funds, but the money's not moving. If like she can send the money.
But he paid the rent.
He did pay the rent. I don't know how. There's a lot of sketchy things here. The thing is that she calls the ex-wife, and the ex-wife like why are you calling me? And she's like, well, I'm the Legion's girlfriend. I mean, no, they got married. They got married before that happened, when she was still pregnant. And another red flag is when he put the social security in the marriage license was different than the social security he put in the car application. So she started running a background check, but neither of the social securities were real.
Wow.
And then like she calls the ex-wife like, it's true, it's like your daughter dying from COVID, like, and the woman was like just laughing. It's like, oh my God, like you don't know who he
You're
is.
another victim.
Yes, he's like, a crazy liar. And it's very funny because this is a very personal story, but I dated a guy long time ago who was a pathologic liar. He would like tell me he was like a millionaire, that he had an airplane, that he had tons of cars, tons of apartments around Miami, and he lived in Orlando. And once he told me like, oh, you should come visit me in Orlando. I can like pick you up in the airplane, blah blah blah. But somehow he never picked me up in the airplane. He picked me up in a very nice car, and then it was like a red Porsche
That he rented for 2 nights.
Exactly. But then the following weekend that he came to Miami to visit me, he had like another Porsche red, but it wasn't the same one. And I was like, how many red Porsches you have? And he was like, what do you mean? It's the same. I'm like, it's not. And I started seeing, this red flags. I'm like, oh, this guy is not. And then one day he didn't have the money to pay the bill in a sushi place.
No.
He's like, oh my God,
I forgot my wallet?
His car was declined, and he told me like, oh,
My account was blocked.
my account was blocked, it's frozen, blah, and I like,
And what did you do?
like
You paid?
I paid obviously, and that
you
was
said
the end of that
And you
thing.
disappear?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy when you find that kind of person. Like,
But
how
they
to deal with that people.
exist,
Yes.
and well, to finalize this telenovela of Reesa Teesa. I love it. It's very entertaining, and she has like a very good storyline. She's very good with.
Yes, she's super charismatic.
Yes.
And what I love about her is like the authenticity to like her, like
way she tells you
yes,
the story.
tells you the story
It's
because
like
it's
very,
funny.
It's funny.
It's funny, and it's like a sitcom. And what I love is like the way like she's making money, and and having a positive ending.
Yeah,
With all
positive
the
attitude.
situations,
Yes.
like, okay, this happened to me. It's a bad situation, but now I'm happy and I'm having a good life, and now I'm famous.
Yes, and it's funny because all the stories she does it while she drives, and it's like so many TikToks. I'm like, where is she driving to? But then after this, she calls the university where he supposedly was a football player, and she puts both of the social securities to like she kind of like pretended to be like a company that was hiring someone and checking if it was true that he studied there. And they were like, no, there's no records of any of the social securities here. And he was like a football player of the school, He obviously needed, to have records there. So she confronts him and it's like, look, I look you up. There's no information about you. Is it true? Are you even a football player? Did you even went to this
Who
school?
you are? Who are
And
you?
he was like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing all these questions? Because these kind of people, they make you believe that you are the
Yes.
problem. They like gaslight you. So
They try
He's-
to make you feel guilty, like
yes,
are
like you don't trust
on
me.
Like,
Uh-huh.
like after everything that I have done for you.
Yes.
and-
So the funny thing is that he says, I didn't even know this existed. He said that there's no records of him because he's a private citizen.
Oh my God.
I'm like, come on. So you're like a private citizen. There's no background checks on anything. Like, okay, why is the reason you're a private citizen? Like,
Give
I
me
don't
more
even
information.
know if that's a thing. But if it is, like, who are you? Okay, you're a vice president of a company, but like, come on.
Yeah, you have to work in, I don't know, the FBI or something like that.
Exactly. So anyway, in the end, she ends up like figured out that everything was a lie, she starts looking at all like his messages. He even was cheating on her. Yeah, so she wasn't even like impressed.
But I read that he was having his brother identity.
Well, that's when things got even crazier. So there somehow, he had money in the account. He like was able to pay stuff. He had credit cards, but he was like taking stealing the identity of his twin brother. So that's why, like, since I guess they were identical twins, people, if they see an ID, photo, they could not like tell. And this guy was like, he did have the money. He was the vice president of a company. He was a football player.
And did she call the brother?
I don't know if I don't think so. Oh, no, she did. She kicked her out of her house. And then the family calls her because, he like went to the parents' house and like, they became a problem for them because this guy has no money. Yeah. He's sleeping in the couch. And they call her. It's like, look, we're sorry. This is not the first time this happens. He's a pathological liar.
He has a mental.
Problem. So it's crazy. I think this is a good story to like be careful with who you marry.
You cannot be so innocent. Like nowadays, even though if you don't have a social media profile, you can ask for photos. You can, like, who are you? What do you do for a living? Like, who, I don't know, like your friends.
Of
like,
course.
Who are your friends? Like, if your friends talk about you, about what you do, about what you are, about, I don't know, the things that you have done in life, like, you cannot marry someone, like, if you don't trust and you don't hear, like, the people around him, like,
I think she probably like got, she's like, okay, I got the big jackpot because he is like a vice president. He's going to get me a house. He's going to get me a car. And she was like, all right, this is my man.
She wanted to get married for me. Mm-hmm. She wanted a guy. She wanted a partner. She wanted a couple, no matter what. And she failed in choosing the right person because she wanted it so badly that she didn't like took care of all the situation that is around one person when you want to, have or be in a relationship with someone.
I know.
Like when you met Nathan, like what is the first thing that you saw? Like his friends, his environment,
family,
like the family,
work.
Yeah.
And I did my research on him. Like I look online and then like, okay, he is true. He works in this company. And then I look in his LinkedIn and then I start meeting his friends and, you cannot like be totally blind by someone. But the thing is that he took advantage of COVID because, he always have the excuse, oh, we cannot see my friends because everyone's quarantined. We cannot see my family because they're quarantined. Yeah. So I don't think this situation would have happened
for him during COVID.
Yeah, he had a good timing, but otherwise, I think it wouldn't have
But
worked.
with who did they FaceTime?
Maybe it was like a screen recording. I think it was like a screen recording, probably.
No.
Yes, like, and also like the funds in the bank were screenshots of his brother's account.
But did he have the password of the?
I don't know. It was
his brother account.
It was screenshots. That's what she says in the end. Anyway, Reesa Teesa, please, if you do any more of these stories, can you make them shorter or do like a full YouTube episode of 1 hour so we don't have to watch 50 videos, please? Yes. Because they're too good. I want to keep watching, but it's like it's time consuming.
You know what is good about her? She discovered talent.
That's true.
A storytelling.
Yes. And you know what is the question I have now? What if this is a whole lie?
No.
And the pathologic liar is Reesa Teesa. What do you guys think?
I love that theory. Okay. I like it.
So leave your comments. What do you think of this story? If you have any crazy story like the one I just told you, let us know. So, well, that's it, and see you next episode.
See you next episode. More than Mamis, Untold stories. Bye bye. More than Mamis.